Brandon, on the outskirts of Coventry, always meant Speedway to me. How times change. It's better known these days for one of the country's most go-ahead nature reserves.
What used to be a sand and gravel quarry now has just about everything a nature lover could want, including a sensory garden for those with sight and hearing difficulties. It's all about sound, touch and smell. It's quite ingenious.
It also has 400 species of plants, scores of different dragonflies and butterflies, and countless invertebrates. But what if I told you that a good percentage of our wildlife isn't ours at all? It was introduced from overseas, usually by eccentric collectors who gave no thought to the consequences. Evidence behind me.
Our subject tonight is aliens. There are several thousand of them here at Brandon, but we've chosen 4 species for closer inspection.
The squirrel goes Technicolor. Exclusive pictures of all 4 varieties, red, grey, black and white. But which one belongs here? Poor man's orchid. It looks harmless enough and some people cultivate it. Others want to rip it out and burn it. And think back to Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael and Donatello. Wow. The legacy of the Ninja Turtles lives on.
We begin with something that was the height of fashion back in the 40s and 50s, but is now the most unpopular creature in Britain.
It's Maytime in Whissendine, and the season begins. A local farmer has summoned the troops because mink are crawling all over his land. It's an invitation the Northamptonshire mink hounds simply couldn't turn down. But what damage could mink do to a farm?
The particular draw we're doing today runs through a quite important shooting estate where there's a lot of reared pheasants, which are actually quite expensive to rear and put down. And obviously they're concerned about the damage the mink will do to their pheasant population.
The biggest disaster for British wildlife. It's cleared rivers where there used to be moorhens, coots, young ducks, you name it, kingfishers. They've wiped them out. They're dead rivers.
Yeah, they were brought over from North America in about 1929 for the fur trade, really. They were reared on farms and killed for the pelts to produce fur coats and things. And of course some of them escaped, some of them were released by well-meaning people who perhaps didn't realise the damage they would do when they got into the environment. Yeah, they're not an indigenous species in this country. That's why they've done so well. There's no actual natural predators in this country for them.
Apart from you?
Apart from ourselves, of course, and the 19 other packs that hunt them throughout the country. The only worry is all this floodwater we've had in the last week, it's going to push the mink back from the water a little bit, but yeah. They've had a day or two to come back, so we'll just travel hopefully and see what happens.
Hey! Go on, lads.
You see, when you go in there, they'll lay up a tree.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and foxes as well, they'll all lay up trees.
Yeah.
Times I think we should have found it here, especially when that's been up in flood.
You won't get into it.
You can go so far, don't walk over your neck.
A long time ago, in a faraway land, Theo was a man who learned to understand the riches of the earth and all that it was worth. The first man that ever tried to stand with his own plan. Now this man was all about the wind, rain, and trees. He knew that it would take care of all of his family needs.
Are you going to make serious inroads into the mink population today, or are you just doing this for a bit of fun?
It's a double-sided question, really. That yes, I do it for fun. I enjoy hunting. I enjoy the people I meet when I'm hunting. I enjoy the riverbanks that we walk along when we're hunting. But when all's said and done, we are here to do a job. And you know, if we get the opportunity to kill a mink today, we will do that. We're here because the estate have called us out to look for them. And if one climbs a tree, it will be shot. We're not going to mess about trying to hunt it. We're here to actually control the mink population.
And they just kill everything. Mink kill everything.
You used to have a lot of ducks here, did you?
Oh yeah, a lot of ducks here, yeah. All different types and species of ducks were actually nesting on this estate, but no longer do they.
Well, they're wiped out completely?
Yeah, wiped out completely.
So you're the huntsman's daughter?
Yep.
What's your name?
Anne.
And how old are you?
10.
And have you ever seen a mink?
Only my stuffed one.
Bit of interest here. A couple of low-scenting hounds are speaking. There's old Albie and Chatter, like I said earlier. If there's out about, they'll speak.
You call it speaking?
Yeah.
Meaning?
Well, when the hounds open up.
When they react?
Yeah.
When they find something?
Yeah.
Why do you think we hunt mink?
Well, like my dad said, it's a disaster.
Oh, you've been well tutored, haven't you? All brainwashed. And why do we hunt foxes?
Well, they kill chickens, and...
So do we, and eat them.
I know, but that's a different matter.
Fiction! Fiction! Cut! Fiction!
Just chewing like Kelly in here.
Basically, there's 14 acres of woodland here, and this is the area where we've seen the mink of late.
He's obviously come off the river there, John, crossed this field of wheat, and he's gone in here somewhere, but where he's gone now, I don't know.
The next 500 yards is where we're going to find the mink.
They're definitely onto something, aren't they?
Well, he might not be here. It's probably where he was last night. It's probably a bit of old drag. These low-scenting hounds will dwell where the mink's been.
Although Mr. Fortescue's morale never sagged, and his taste for battle revived memories of Field Marshal Montgomery of Alamein, the plain truth was that Northamptonshire mink hounds were heading for a blank.
Yeah, a bit of a disappointment. There was one at the beginning there, and we spent 2 hours looking for it, but it was just a bit better than we were today, and that's the essence of country sports, of course.
Chatter! Chatter! Where's Chatter? Chatter!
Aliens? I'll show you aliens. Jaguar fish from North America, harmless and quite cuddly. Siamese fighting fish from Thailand, harmless too, unless you're another Siamese fighting fish. Baby turtle from North America, harmless. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles may have started as a comedy cult back in the 80s, but a couple of decades on, they aren't raising much of a laugh in parts of the English countryside. The trouble is that what starts off as a cute little thing becomes larger and less cute. That's when some owners decide to dump them, and that's when the trouble starts. Ducklings, fish, frogs and toads, they're all part of the turtles' and terrapins' diet. So now the superheroes have become the villains. Which is where Lawrence Belshaw comes in. When a refugee turtle is spotted in the wild, this self-styled aquatic pathologist hits the road to rescue them.
We've had a call about, he thinks it's a dead turtle. So I think what we'll do is have a look at the fishing spots down here and see if we can come across anything. He says it's not far from the bridge.
You say lots of fishermen contact you to say they've seen turtles out and about.
Oh, I caught them on rod and line.
And they catch them on the rod?
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is where it's been. And he poked it with his net.
OK.
Ah, aha.
Oh, it doesn't look dead. Are you sure it's dead?
That's dead.
That's not moving?
Yes.
Oh, what a shame. So why will this have died? I mean, there must be lots of fish out there it could be eating.
I would have thought that it's picked a cold up and it's developed into pneumonia. And it's more than likely a recent release.
20 miles up the Derwent, there's one of the biggest havens for unwanted turtles. Just think what would have happened if this lot were let loose in the countryside. Every one of these at Matlock Aquarium was a teenage turtle reject. We've been hearing that these are quite vicious beasts. Is this as vicious?
Put a finger near a bite, see what a bite they've got. And for a child, that could be quite painful.
His name's Fred. Come on, boy. I found him crossing a road 4 years ago with a nasty wound on his tail, and I don't know where the wound had come from.
He's huge.
Yes, he's a big boy. He's a big boy.
My goodness, that's huge.
And he's not fully grown, not by a long, long way.
You're joking.
No, no, not by a long, long way.
He looks really vicious.
And when you buy snappers...
Look at his claws.
As big as half a crowns in a pet shop.
Yeah.
If they can survive our climate, like Fred can, it will take your fingers off. He'll eat all your water voles, all your baby ducks, all your newts and frogs. And if they ever breed in this country, our rivers will be empty.
Yeah.
Completely empty.
That's
Aren't you
absolutely
a
incredible.
beauty?
Now this is where it all starts, isn't it? These really cute little 50p piece-sized turtles. Now they're really sweet. I can understand why people want to take these home.
People do buy them when they're the size of 50p a piece, like this little one here. In a couple of years, they've got something that's starting to grow to the size of a dinner plate. The novelty wears off, they've got nowhere to keep it, and that's when the RSPCA is generally called in to pick up the pieces.
I think it's total rubbish. I mean, if they're sold and explained correctly to the people that buy them, they can make a very nice pet. There's a big confusion here in the red-eared terrapin and the turtle. The red-eared terrapin grows very big, can be quite nasty. The turtles, such as that we've seen here today, will grow no more than 3 or 4 inches, totally harmless, and make a lovely pet.
So how many of these do you think there are around the UK running wild?
Running wild? Well over 100.
Really?
That probably is way, way lower than what actually is alive.
I guess we ought to put him back. He looks a bit...
Yeah, I think he's had enough,
Yeah,
don't you?
you might get your fingers in him.
Yes, I think he's had
or
enough.
mine.
Right, Fred, say cheerio.
Wow.